HR is going through an evolution that marketing has gone for the last 50 to 70 years. The whole world measures the impact, especially in business. Any activity, any campaign, any business idea. There's a notion that is coming to HR now, newly, that's pretty much triggered or enhanced by the information technology that HR tech now has. HR is going through an evolution that marketing has gone for the last 50 to 70 years. We used to focus on a lot more operational stuff, a bit more content, anecdotal experiences. More and more people analytics are coming into the play. Now, every HR decision going forward is or will be based on specific data, scenario analysis, predictive analysis, and a huge CRM approach. If you do that evolution, if you convert your HR, just like we've converted our marketing, then your talent, your employees become really your consumers or customers. Now there's a beauty of that. It will then require that you will understand your people a lot better and then customize your services towards your talent, specifically target-oriented and a lot more effective and useful. And that will create in turn engagement and belonging that we know will increase the productivity and profitability of any organization. Now that evolution from a more typical content and relationship based HR towards a foundational data scientific HR and a layer of business relationship is the future. HR is going to go through that evolution that marketing has gone in 50, 60 years in the next decade or two. We're right now, basing all our decisions based on these deep analytical scenarios or analysis. That is giving input to us about talent fluidity, what kind of roles feed, what kind of other senior roles, and how do we do succession planning. I have the luxury to work with the people analytics team to map out those things as analytical or scientific background. Now, that gives us only a glimpse of the future, that pretty much everything that we see in HR, like all the talent movements, talent development, talent attraction, hiring, can be managed a lot better, like 10x better, with a decent scientific underlying foundation.
Can you give like even more concrete examples for people to sort of grasp what you're talking about?
The evolution that we're in will enable us to measure impact, and that is also there's a special place of A/B testing in marketing, right? And I think that should be more in place for HR as well. Let's just take your example in onboarding. Now, a lot of companies are very comfortable mapping out that journey, like key moments that matter in that journey. What they're struggling with is that what are the right interventions in those moments that will make your talent feeling more included, feeling more boosting the belonging of the employee. So companies just don't know how that intervention look like. So they know that this is an important moment in that employee journey, but what exactly to be done there needs to be almost like a marketing approach with maybe an A/B testing, try it out. So you, for example, during onboarding, you try out that the first week of the onboarding, you start with a day of onboarding that is specific, that starts with line manager and then goes around the unit and then the peers. And that's your maybe the control group. Another group receives the CEO as an introduction, and then receives the executive team the first day. Now, we need to be able to measure which one is more impactful. Like, with which one did we have more engagement? How many of these videos are being watched? Or how many comments are being left there? So we need to move towards that A/B testing kind of scientific decision making, so that we measure the impact and then we find that, okay, this mixture of onboarding, content curation creates the most belonging and inclusion in the first 6 months. So those kind of analytics I'm talking about.
How come this is not something that is common across today's HR. We have the technology from like marketing, we have the technology from the business. So like what is lacking?
So all of these things I'm talking about are from companies that are pretty advanced and in B2C business. I mean, most of the companies don't have access to this level of sophistication in their marketing departments as well. But if you're in an FMCG company or a telecom operator, your B2C marketing is so strong, you would expect that it is pretty common in HR functions as well. But there's something that separates all the departments from each other, right? It's like there's finance does the finance way of working, HR does the HR way of working, and then marketing does marketing. So I think there's at some point there needs to be cross-fertilization of these units. I think we have to have some marketing senior leaders coming into HR, and maybe vice versa. But I think the reason so far it hasn't been a common practice is that those silos within those companies.
I'm not seeing a path where this is changing.
Well, I think this pretty much starts when a CEO starts to think about his or her employees as their customers and then valuable talent. So I'm not going to go ahead and say the cliche like our most valuable asset is our people. I mean, it's a great saying. I've seen very few practices of that. But a CEO starts to think that, okay, a high performing talent versus an average talent gives me 10 to 12x of different impact. So if that is really believed in the companies, and if the CEO starts to think about like, I need to treat my people as my customers, then the next natural place that he or she will look as a CEO is marketing. Like, well, you've been doing a lot of stuff with our customers. Can you give a hand to HR? I think those kind of people moving from marketing to HR will have a tremendous impact right now. One of the things that HR also is trying to integrate and struggling to integrate is that the whole data analytics and people analytics muscles that are now really strong in the market, how to integrate that in the HR's daily work. Now, that also integration can be a lot easier if we have those kind of people like from marketing that knows how to integrate those two worlds. So I'm not that religious about marketing. I'm just giving that example because they know how to.
It's to bring the skills and the competence.
The mindset is there. They've been doing this for a while, and I think rather than reinventing the whole thing, I think it's just a good signal to say like we see our talent as our customer.
Yeah.
In on its own itself, it's an amazing message, a signal to your people.
And we attribute a equivalent or a decent part of our budget to making.
Well, 100%. I think the right now the talent, especially in like an information technology area, the talent is pretty smart, right? So you can't just go ahead and as a CEO say like our people are our most valuable asset and then we love you the most. If they don't see it on their daily lives, they're not going to believe. I mean, they're going to believe it the first 3 weeks. And then in the fourth week, when they still come to the office and then see all of these complex environments, and then somebody says like, you have to be in the office 70% of the time. And by the way, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are those days. And feel like, well, I don't feel like a customer right now. So people are now pretty smart to see through if it's only in a PowerPoint slide that we see people as our most valuable asset or our customers, or is it really in their daily lives they feel like treated as talent and customers? And that's not that complicated, right? I think if you look at the human psyche, we work really well in this context with autonomy. We're showing much more belonging if we feel we're included. And then we stay with companies who develop us. So those are not very complicated concepts. It just needs intention to walk that path.
To then use the data and the analytics that we have available to serve those intentions.
100%.
So have the intention.
Good closure. Yeah.
Have the intention is probably like a first step that is not there yet. And also then use the available tools and data to go and get those things.
Yeah. And select the most impactful intervention. That's also like select it with decent science. Also monitor and follow up the results and then reiterate. These are concepts that everybody knows. It just needs put together intentionally.
Yeah, I like it.